What's good, folks? So this is my back and bicep workout. I usually have two variations of these throughout the week, and on my first one, I'll focus more on vertical movements and just you know pulling the bar from over my head to my head and stuff like that. Just like lat pull downs or pullovers, and I'll still incorporate like one or two rowing movements in there. So, and all these I did supersets and almost like giant sets. So I did about four of those, and I found a weight that I could do anywhere from like 10 to 15 throughout that giant set. But yeah, I'm a big fan of these giant sets. Just a really good way to add that volume and get in a good RPE range and be able to just be in and out of the gym, especially if you're in a time constraint. And it's still easy to like track your progress in that progressive overload, because you're still able to gauge a good weight for these movements. And yeah, so I started off with these super wide grip pull downs, and I did some normal pull downs, and then I did the supinated grip pull downs. Then I did these, I like to call these like swinging rear delt rows. Really hits that rear delt and also hits that lat. And then really cool movement. You can just do so much with it, and really just helps you just focus on the tempo, and something that's always good, and just being able to like control your breathing. And then I ended it with these hammer curls, supersetted with rotating curls. Really good movement. But yeah, as you see, man, once you get to the bottom of this giant set, you are just killing it, feeling it, and getting the burn. So my next giant set was with this low row machine. Really big fan of this low row machine. Doesn't take too much weight, and just makes you just really focus on the movement to get that really solid good contraction. And as you can see, you get a pretty brutal pump too. So I just kind of like mess with my hand positioning with this. Started with that supinated, then I went to the neutral grip, and then I did just one arm at a time. Again, big fan of these. I know they say you can't like specifically do an exercise a target like width or or thickness, but I really feel like this has definitely helped with the width of my back. I just get such a good stretch on it, and it's honestly one of my favorites. Alrighty, so my next giant set was these pullovers. This is actually just a superset, but it was these pullovers with this. I like to make my own little contraction here. You can also do a rope with it, but I like to get two bands, just tie it to this bar, and then really focus on the rotating my wrist at the bottom of the movement. Gets a good stretch on the lats. The only reason I don't like the rope is because I feel like it kind of forces you in a weird angle just for a pullover, simply because the base of it doesn't allow. I guess you could also doesn't allow for like enough extension, but get around with that was just be using two ropes, and I'll probably be demonstrating that later. I'm a big fan of the double rope movements. Yeah, and then I supersetted these with these overhead pulls. As you can see, activates a lot of just muscles in your upper back, your upper lats, your shoulders, rear delts, your traps, your biceps. Big fan of these. A must in every like solid back workout. And then I transitioned into my little bicep work. Again, I did 4 sets of all these movements, all these super/giant sets. Just and just kind of just messing with the different hand positionings. Supinated, then neutral, then pronated, then I did one arm at a time. Almost like a work and drop set, because I did not allow myself to rest I really just like, using the full, you know, I'm doing this movement for about like 2 minutes, 4 sets of these, and I'm in a good time under pressure where I am just forcing so many like muscle fibers to be recruited and just activating so much of a pump and just getting so much of a burn that it just feels so good. Like, yeah, you can maybe do like a quick 3 sets of 10, but you're not in that good time under pressure that you really need for optimal muscle growth. Like, you need to be pushing yourself for a solid minute to 2 minutes per exercise to really reap the most benefits. And that's something that kind of took me some years of training to fully grasp and understand. But, another thing you could do, I guess, would be like a good set of like 12 to 15 and just really control your rep movements. But I prefer doing, long ass giant sets that just really just test your limits. All right, so my last movement here was these rear delt flies. Really good stuff here. And then I did like 15 full range of motions, and then I started feeling burnt out, so then I finished up with like 12 to 15 partials. And man, once you're at the end of this, you were really just feeling it, man. And a rear delt pump is just a crazy pump. Like, if you haven't had a pump in your rear delts, you'd be really surprised. Yeah, so then my last exercise was these almost like reverse flies. But yeah, thanks for watching my workout. Stay tuned and stay pumping.